What's up, YouTube guys? Hey, so I'm coming back again with another deck profile. It's more or less the one I've already done. I just thought I'd do an update, I guess. And it's my super heavy samurai build. Having a lot of fun with it at locals. I know a lot of people are getting tired of facing it because I just keep dominating some weird areas, and nobody can side against it really easily. So it has that same kind of effect against, like, not necessarily Fire Fist, but other decks that are kind of rogue that don't have something specific that you can put in against them. Like, there is one that I can think of that people do side, and it's the System Down card. Other than that, though, it doesn't really seem to hit me as much as I thought it would. And a lot of people aren't using it so much as they are like Fairy Wind and stuff against cards that use machine types that use machine types, just like mine, which would be an example of Clayforts. But here, let's go over the overview over the deck profile. First, we're gonna run 3 Giant Rats. Giant Rats, awesome. You can use them to crush. You can use them to XCs. You can use them just to bring out, solely to bring out Super Heavy Samurai Big Benkai. With Big Benkai being a thing, he's your 3,500 defense point beater. Until the new support comes out, he's going to be the main monster of the deck. You can use him to make the rank 8s like Felgrand or Giant Grinder to kind of win games if your opponent's real XZ heavy. I like to use them just to get a big threat on board, and then what I really end up winning with is my rank 4 abilities, so it's really nice. You know, they're going to waste materials trying to get rid of Big Benkai, or they're going to let him stay on the field, which is a mistake on their part, and have to deal with a ton of different super heavies that can attack in defense mode. One of the follow-ups is the Blue Brawler. Blue Brawler is essential because he puts kind of that indestructible threat on the field, and he's a level 4, which makes him an excellent target for the next guy here, which you run 3 of, which is the Super Heavy Samurai Scales. Also, remember that all the super heavy monsters are searchable by Giant Rat, which makes them even more so useful. Especially because if you use Rat to search Scales, you get Scales effects to search out the level 4 from the graveyard because it's when he's normal or special summon. And because of the fact that he also takes the part of Cyber Dragon, he has his own special summoning conditions, all of which will have an even greater effect as soon as the newest support comes out here pretty soon. Continuing on, I run one of the Machina Gear Frame to help search out the Machina Fortresses that I run 2 of. I do run a rank 7 in there, which is Dracosac. I could be a big eye too. I just chose Dracosac because I don't seem to have enough of the Xyz pop ability, so that's why I went ahead and went with him. Machina Fortress is always a threat. Any machine deck should have him. I run the one Gear Frame because I do run Iron Call in this deck at ×2, so it's also a reborn target. So if you do find yourself dead in the water right off the bat, you can always Machina Fortress or Gear Frame. Wait a turn, let it get destroyed or whatever. Next turn, you go Iron Call plus Blue Brawler. You have your rank 4 XCs, which is probably going to be Gear Gigant X to search out another scale, so you have another rank 4 option the next turn. I have a bunch of. Here's my last super heavy card, which is the Soulbane Cannon. It's cool. It's basically an effect negation, and with this deck, what I did was with this deck is I made it put a lot of effect negation abilities inside of here, and it's because a lot of the faster decks out there do rely solely on effects, and whether they're from the graveyard or not doesn't. I mean that's which is going to be the only way to get around what I have set up on board. So I also main deck 2 Veiler, which is also the 1-star tuner, and which I'll explain in the extra deck because. Aside from the fact that it is an effect negator, you can go into cards that are trump cards for certain decks, such as Yang Zings, which makes you get Armades out easier, amongst other things. I run 1 Maxi because of Burning Abyss being a thing, and Yang Zings being a thing, and this and that and other stuff. I also run 1 Redox because the entire deck is Earth, aside from maybe a couple cards, and he's just monster reborns off of everything. Let's go into the trap cards. Trap cards. We went ahead and we're still going to run 3 Call of the Haunteds until the newest support comes out because of the fact that you need to get Big Baller back on the field. It can really help you get off the different XCs plays. Say you're down a monster, they have MST, so you can still call Scales, still get Scales effect to summon a Blue Brawler back, so no matter what, you can get a monster back in defense mode, especially one that can't be destroyed by battle makes it a huge plus. I run 1 D2 shield because even though some people would say there's not space, I say there is space, and you can't deny 36, 4,000 or 7,000 point defense point monsters on the board, and they get the ability to attack that's a huge, it's massive. So back to an effect negation, double breakthrough skill. I like it because it's an effect negation and it's worth it. Double Fiendish Chain. I like it because if you do have something, they try to go something super weak right off the bat. Say, like a Mathematician play, maybe a. I mean, not so much Tour Guide, even though Tour Guide is a good target for it. Just something on the weaker end of things that helps them get things rolling. You can Fiendish Chain it. They're not going to get their effect. You summon the rat, you crash the rat, you bring out the Big Benkai, you swing over it with Big Benkai. Now you've got your field set up, you've stopped them, and it's moving on pretty well. Last card is double Depriz, because pendulums are a thing, and they can be kind of a pain to deal with sometimes. Now let's go back to let's go to spells. Spells. I main deck 2 MSTs. MST, kind of obvious. Here's the 2 Iron Call. Iron Call, it's a monster reborn. If you have a level 4 in your graveyard, it's awesome to activate. You bring back out, you continue going on with your XCs plays, and that's really all you're going to use it for. I also run double Machine Duplication. Machine Duplication's fantastic, and because I only have 1 target in there, it's still not a dead card. I've never come into a situation where Machine Dupe is dead because if Blue Brawler's in graveyard, you have 3 scales. You're usually going to say, early game or late game, if it need to be done. The latest of the late game, and you've already used one. That's when one of them will become dead. Because if you have Iron Call, you can go. You can bring back Blue Brawler, hit it with Machine Dupe, search the other 2. Now you have a field again. If you have Call of the Haunted set and you have Scales and Blue Brawler in graveyard, you go Call of the Hunted, Scales into Blue Brawler, duplicate the Blue Brawler. Now you have a set of 4 level 4 monsters. You have 2 XCs right there off the bat, and you're looking at a threat again. A bunch of 1-ofs, Soul Charge, kind of a staple in everything. Raigeki, because this deck can use and utilize it very well. You put a bunch of guys on board, and then crash Rat and for a Big Benkai. Raigeki the field, or you got it. Raigeki's worth it. 1 duality. I didn't know how much. I don't know how much I like running this card. I think a better search card should be available. But like I said, once I get that little crossbow card, this card will probably become a past tense used card. And then the last one here is Shooting Starbow. I could have used Twin Swords Flashing Choice twice. Which makes them lose 500 attack, and then they can attack twice each turn. However, it seems like 3,500 strong, but there's a lot of reason why attacking twice can't be useful. If I attack into a Yang Zing monster, they're going to special something else Yang Zing out. If I attack into if you're forcing yourself to attack into something that maybe a Shadal card, you're going to force their effect off, and realistically, if you just need to get ideally, obviously, you're using it with Big Benkai. So, if you just need to get 30, if you're within 3,500, that's an instant win play. And, maybe next turn it's like, okay, pass. They do whatever they got to do to get their guy out and something like that. And they're probably going to go for Construct or, Dante or blah, blah, blah. And then, next turn you go ahead and you make that rank 4 play into Gaga Cowboy for an additional 800. It's kind of hard to not win at that point. So, okay, so here, let's go into the extra deck really fast. I run the 1 Gear Gigant X. It used to be 2. Run 1 now. Searches out the whole deck, basically. So if you are short something right off the bat, you can always go, Scales, Blue Brawler, Gear Gigant X, search Scales. After detaching Blue Brawler, then you're set to go ahead and pull off another rank for the next following turn. It doesn't matter who. 1 Ragna 0 because it's 2,400 and it does have viability against certain decks, including by Fire Fist and some other things too. It just depends on what you play. Rogue decks tend to not like it. Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. I actually started using this at locals a little bit more now lately, and it's just because you'll get somebody will put up some huge 2,500 attack point beater, and all you have is access to a rank 4. Obviously, he's the best guy for as far as powerhousing to win. I also play Castel. Castel's great. So I know problematic cards you just can't seem to get rid of. Something ridiculous like I don't even know. I played a vampire deck and it was kind of an issue because he had this whole field set up, and then every time I would declare an attack, I milled a card, and every time I milled a card, the field spell would go off, and the field spell let him pop a card, so then he wouldn't even take damage because of timing issues or whatever. So Castel's really good to help clear up something like that to get stop, to kind of kill the effect off. which is good. You play Excite tonight. I played him like freaking every game this last weekend. He pretty much did what he needed to do, especially even against that vampire deck. And you know, there's no reason not to have him. If you're running rank 4s, you might as well just main him. Play 1 Black Ship of Corn because it's Black Ship of Corn. 1 Honor Arc because it's not dead, it's still good. I main 2 double Cowboy because I explained it earlier how I got 4 level 4s on board. That's 1600 damage just by going double Cowboy. The 1 rank 7 Draco Sack. The 2 rank 8s Felgrand and Give My Pup a Giant Grinder. Giant Grinder is a win condition if you're playing an Xyz heavy deck, which most decks are. Even though the newest stuff coming out, it's going to kind of make this kind of a dead card. And I'm probably going to pull him actually for the Susanoo when he comes out. And Felgrand because you can kind of lock your opponent into a loss at the end if that's what need be. Trump card, you have your Armades, you have your Ally Justice Cataster, and you have your Stardust Dragon. Thanks, comment, rate, subscribe.